So I'm going to help you set up your calories. If you are someone who enjoys your desi food and you want to know how you can integrate the two, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your calories for weight loss. Let's get stuck straight into it. And before some of you are asking, well, what does this guy know? Well, I've been doing this for over a decade and I have set up many clients' calories over the years successfully. So first thing you want to do is get a baseline. Best way to approach it is just to go on any calculator. You can use the kind of methods that they have online. You've got Catch McCardle or Mifflin St. Jeor, I think that's how you pronounce it. But ultimately, you just want to get a baseline, all right? What you want to do is you want to put in your date of birth, your height, your weight, all of that good stuff. Once you've done that, it will probably ask you about multipliers, etc. So you want to try your very best to put in your activity levels, etc. Once you've done that, do not then immediately jump to fast, aggressive weight loss. This is a mistake because although you may see fast weight loss, you will gain it back very quickly. What you're looking for at this stage is the beginning stage. You just want to get a baseline. Now, the number you get here is not your final number. This is a mistake people make. Once you get this number, you then want to do step 2, which is the part most people do not do, and it's going to basically make this foolproof. And that is for 14 days, you want to check your weight on an empty stomach every single day. So let's say, for example, after all of the data entry, you find yourself at around 1800 calories, which is your total daily energy expenditure. So your TDE is basically the amount of energy your body needs per day. And you've got your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, which is just the amount of energy you need to keep the lights on, basically. Then you've got things like your TEF, your EAT, your NEAT, I'm sure some of you have heard of it, and then your thermic effective food. All right. Now, we're not going to go into those into too much detail because right now the goal is just to get you to set up the calories so you know. But once you've got your number and it says 1800 to maintain your weight, for example, right? Let's see how that goes. So we want to follow that number for 14 days, right? Now, every single day you wake up in the morning, following those calories, you step on the scale, you check your weight. You take that number down. Once you've got that number, you want to repeat that process for 14 days. What you're looking for at this stage is over the 14 days, has my weight gone up? Has it gone down? Is it staying roughly the same? If there are huge fluctuations, if your weight goes up, if your weight goes in, that will tell you something. So if your weight goes down quite a bit, it probably tells you your calories are too low. And although that might be a good thing, you don't want to lose weight too quickly. If your weight goes up, it means that the 1800 calories were probably too high for you. But if it fluctuates a little bit here and there, or it stays fairly stable, that means that the calorie that you are consuming is the amount you need to maintain your weight. This is the golden number. Now what we do is we follow it and then we see the weight loss, right? So you want to hit your targets, get your protein, your fiber, do a little bit of exercise, blah, 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 right? But this little in-between step of following it for 14 days is where most people make the mistake because they do not do it, right? They immediately go to the calculator, they'll find aggressive weight loss. I want to lose, 1.5 pounds a week. And they see some of that, but they lose a lot of muscle, which they don't realize is very important. And then they end up gaining the weight back. But what you want to do is, as crazy as it sounds, you want to lose body fat on as many calories as possible. Because inevitably, when you end up hitting a plateau, you can then lower your calories safely. Whereas if you start too high, you end up getting stuck quite quickly. So number one, any calculator will do. Just work out what your daily energy expenditure is based on your numbers and some of the up-to-date formulas we've got. Then what you do is you take that number and you follow it for 14 days to see what it does to your weight. That will then tell you, those calories, whether or not they're going to work for you from a maintenance perspective. Then you follow it. And then you start to do things like, if you want to increase your deficit, you can do it immediately to maybe 16 to 1500 if you wanted to do a small deficit. Or my personal favorite is keep the calories the same because you know that these are my maintenance calories, and then do some steps, do some exercise, right? I'm a huge fan of basically eating as much as possible and letting activity levels do the calorie burning, albeit it's not going to be too much, but I can't think of anything miserable than immediately reducing food intake. So what I do is I aim for a small deficit of around 2 to 250. That works for me. And then I just keep my steps up. Now, eventually, obviously that's not going to work. So I then need to bring my food intake down lower. But if you can try your very best to basically get a bit of both in the early stages of your journey and not make it too aggressive, it's going to make the weight loss a hell of a lot more sustainable for you. Okay, that in itself is a tool, or a method rather, of a tool that you see online that works tremendously well and it has worked for me over the many years of doing this. And it is a little bit like, oh, I don't want to do this, because most people don't want to spend 14 days. But those 14 days are going to be the most important, because you are going to save yourself a hell of a lot of time and effort, and you won't be second guessing yourself, because you'll get a very accurate number and you'll be able to lose weight a lot more efficiently. All right, so there's my foolproof method. Very simple, very easy. Macros, etc. I'll go into that maybe in another video, but honestly, keep it, common sense. I would say, there's a lot of formulas out there, but the rule that I followed with a lot of clients is just don't fall below 100 grams of protein per day, and that works out very well. Now, if you're a male and you're bigger, obviously you'll need a bit more, and then with fats, don't drop below 50 grams. Then it becomes a bit more technical, because then you can count the calories from your carbs and everything. But I would say as a baseline, not dropping below 100 grams is a good shout. Obviously, the more aggressive your calorie deficit becomes, you then want to increase your protein a little bit, and then kind of take it from there. But I'll do that in another video altogether, right? But this video, I just wanted to cover exactly how to manage your setup and how to make sure you get the most from it, rather than spinning your wheels and wasting your time. Now, let's say you're watching this video and you've been stuck for some time and you're wondering why nothing has worked for your weight loss. Now that you've got this formula, you're excited, but maybe you're curious as to why the hell nothing has worked up until now. Well, I'm going to cover that for you. I made a video specifically about that, and I promise you, if you watch this, it's going to open up your eyes. So click on that before you go anywhere.